How's it going, everybody? This is the Stimulus Check Hub here to give you your daily stimulus check and unemployment benefits updates and latest information. If you are new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. A like and a comment are always appreciated. Also, if you wouldn't mind sharing this with your friends and family, because I'm sure they would also like the most up-to-date information on their stimulus checks and unemployment benefits available anywhere on YouTube, which is what I try to provide here on this channel.
Right now, what you need to keep in mind is that the news coming out of Russia and Ukraine, this is important. This is extremely important because we don't know, will Russia eventually pull out of Ukraine? Are they just trying to take over Ukraine? Because if they do, we are going to see more supply chain issues and constraints. We don't know, is China going to step in? Are they going to eventually help Russia? That's the expectation. Will Ukraine just finally give up and in order to save the lives of their citizens? We don't know what's going to happen, but these are the things that we need to consider, okay? And right now, this war between Russia and Ukraine, this is the main focus for the majority of the world. This is the main focus for a lot of our lawmakers here in the United States, and rightfully so. People's lives are on the line. And as Ukrainians hunker down and pretty much in search for safety or run to nearby countries, the world's economy takes a hit. It takes a hit because a lot of stuff does come out of Russia and Ukraine, and if people are leaving or other countries are being impacted, then this means the entire world is impacted. And this is why many economists believe that additional stimulus is needed. And again, like I discussed yesterday and the day before, lawmakers keep on bringing up the conversations, but they just don't do much about it. Now, we know that the Russian oil ban from the United States, this has heavily impacted us here in the U.S., but it's caused gas prices to go up. Currently, they're somewhat coming down, but many are predicting that this is out of fear. Prices are coming down out of fear, but they worry that prices aren't coming down quick enough because of the greed from large oil companies. And this is why when lawmakers brought up the fact that they want to bring large oil CEOs in to have them testify on price gouging, I thought this was a good idea because we see this all the time, but not much ever comes from it. We know that metals are also going up. Building a house is getting more expensive. Buying a car is more expensive. Rent is more expensive. Food, the price of food just in general is going up. And even if you plan to eat out, because the cost of everything is just going up for at-home purchases, eating out becomes a little bit more expensive because, well, you feel bad for the person, serving your food, so you give them a little bit extra. Tough times, so let's give you a little bit extra money, a little bit higher tip. But the price of the food there is more expensive anyway, and you probably have a lack of products because, well, we got supply chain issues. So right now, what many people believe, and many economists have been saying this for a while, is we need additional stimulus to get through these tough times. And again, not a stimulus check. And the reason why I continue to bring this up is because everyone keeps asking, hey, are we going to get a stimulus check? And the answer is no. From the federal government, the answer is no. From state, local governments, possibly. And again, I did a video just the other day talking about that as well. But what you need to keep in mind, okay, right now, is that things like a stimulus check may not be included, but other forms of relief are. Again, some of these aren't going to be huge. They're not going to be really padding your bank accounts. You're not going to be able to take the money and put it into the stock market like millions of people did back in 2020 and 2021. But you could get something like a gas tax holiday. And I know for 18 cents from the federal government, 18 cents per gallon is not much. But if you factor in state gas taxes as well, that could be a pretty substantial savings, anywhere from 35 to 69 cents. Pretty good. Now, is it as good as the Minnesota governor trying to get $500 stimulus checks to their residents or $1,000 checks to couples to help offset the cost of gas? No. A gas tax holiday isn't going to do quite that, but it would provide some relief. We also know lawmakers and economists believe that the child tax credit payments should be extended. We should see these. But the problem is would these cause additional inflation? And the answer, according to multiple reports, is yes. They would cause additional inflation. But, and here's something I want to bring up. When the American people were asked if you would pay higher gas prices to help save Ukraine, would you do it? The majority of people said yes. There was also a poll done, I think it was like a couple months ago. I believe it was January that this poll was done. But it asked, would you pay higher prices due to inflation if it meant children didn't go hungry, they were not raised in poverty, they could go to school, those three things? And about 60% of people said yes, they would pay more. But there was also a bunch of people that said no, they wouldn't pay more because it's not their responsibility to take on somebody else's child. And I completely understand that. But economists believe that if we did provide the child tax credit payments again, this would provide more stability. Because what we don't want is prices to go up, come back down, go up, come back down. That would be very hard to deal with. If prices go up and they stay elevated for some time, you can deal with that and you can plan around it. But if you see these peaks and valleys, it's not going to work. It's very difficult to plan around that. So they do say the child tax credit payments would be seen as one of the best forms of relief for the American people. But here's another one. And this is potentially the biggest one because this is one of the newer newer talking points between lawmakers. And this was a provision or a proposal passed, or actually proposed by Republican Representative Ro Khanna from California and also Senator Whitehouse. But it's about taking the profits from large oil companies and using those profits to help provide assistance to the American people, and using this for pretty much the price of gas. Now, here's one thing that I thought was brought up just the other day, and I thought this was very, very interesting, was lawmakers are accepting of the fact that, yes, let's raise taxes on corporate America. Let's raise taxes to 15%. Let's do all these other things, right? Bring in more revenue. Okay, that's great. But how is that any different from charging a tax on these large oil companies for almost charging too much for gas, right? Really profiting off this. How is that? And I know it was a 50% tax, so obviously it was excessive, but do we need a 50% tax? No. What if we went right back to them with, all right, 15%, 25%? Because there's been support of that. And that's what I think is interesting is right now, economists are saying that we need additional assistance, and stimulus is needed now. We need to not only stimulate our economy, which could potentially be in a recession. We don't know that. We won't know until we are in the recession. You don't know that you are in a recession until you're actually in it, or actually months later. Okay, so that's the struggle. Is some economists believe that we need additional stimulus now. Yes, it may cause additional inflation. Okay, maybe a little bit. It'll be nominal, but it will get us back on track because this war between Russia and Ukraine has really kicked us off course.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. A like and a comment are always appreciated. Also, if you wouldn't mind sharing this with your friends and family, because I'm sure they would also like the most up-to-date information on their stimulus checks and unemployment benefits available anywhere on YouTube. Have a good one.